The Downtown Rams podcast is brought to you by Rams On Demand, Seat Giant, Vibe 305, and RWO, Rams World Order. Now enjoy the show.
Down the middle, to the end zone, caught by Brandon Cooks. Shoot your arrows.
It's picks. Nickel Roby Coleman
throws. Enzo caught, touchdown. Tyler Higbee. Cooper Kupp walks it out of the air and gives the Rams the lead. LaMarcus Joyner returns to the lineup with an interception in London. 35-30. Robert Woods, first down 20. 10-5. Touchdown. LA! No, it's Goff who keeps it. And Goff goes crashing into the end zone. Aaron Donald almost beat the football there and comes away with his third sack of the afternoon. Met immediately and sacked. Corey Littleton, have yourself a day. And he gets gobbled up. Savage has to eat it as Michael Brockers picks up the sack. He's decked by Ebu Tom. Picked off. Marcus Peters strutting his stuff. Mark Barron the last 4 weeks has been a Pro Bowler.
Oh, it's picked off on the play by John Johnson.
After the throw, and we mentioned that is his 8th completed pass in his career.
Cousins sacked. Ndamukong Suh. Of all the guys, it's the rookie John Franklin Myers who knocks it out of Cousins' right hand. Todd Gurley, 20, 10, Gurley for MVP.
Welcome back, guys, to another Downtown Rams podcast. It's episode 174, and I'm your host, Jake Ellenbogen. Joining me is Alexis Kraft, and we got two great interviews. We have Nathan Brisson-Fast from Central Michigan, defensive lineman, and joining us as well on the show, we have British Columbia quarterback Michael O'Connor, and we're really excited to bring you those interviews, so check them out. Let us know what you think, and enjoy the podcast.
Hey everyone, Jake and I are joined here by Nathan Brisson-Fast, the defensive lineman out of Central Michigan. Hey Nathan, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We're really excited to have you on the show, and we're just going to get this thing rolling right away. And just to kind of start off, I just want to ask you, how old were you when you started playing football, and how did that story happen?
I think I was like 15 when I started. I started playing football late my sophomore year of high school. I played soccer, really. That's kind of what my main focus was, soccer and basketball up until that point.
Yeah, that's actually, it's funny how everyone has their own, unique football story. Sometimes it's just we've played since, year 2, and sometimes it's, say, I picked up the sport late. With that being said, I know you played a lot of soccer, but did you have a favorite NFL player growing up?
Oh, yeah. Barry Sanders is my all-time favorite. I did, a million projects on him. Any chance I could do a project on Barry Sanders in elementary school, I did it.
Yeah, Barry was a cool guy and definitely an amazing player. So, obviously you grew up playing football, and then it came time for you to, go to college and, play football there. What was the main factor for you in choosing to play football at Central Michigan?
It was really kind of the team dynamic, the guys that were there. People always talk about, I really fell in love with the place, but for me, it's the people, that's who I'm going to spend time with. So getting a good group of guys that, we really didn't have, offense versus defense or anything like that. It was really one team, and you could really see that at their practices, guys from the offense running over and talking to guys from the defense and just having a really good time. And not playing a lot of football growing up, until late. It was kind of cool to see that, kind of family aspect that was really there. A lot of people say, hey, we're like a family, but, actually not having to say anything, but me seeing that was really what made me choose Central Michigan.
And then at Central Michigan, you redshirted as a freshman. What was that experience like, and what knowledge did you gain by doing that?
Man, it was really good for me. Only playing 2 full years of football before that, I really got a chance to learn the game of football, from a detailed aspect. In high school, I played any position they could get me to go out and play with the number I was wearing. So really getting to actually learn about the D-line position, everything from pass rush to how you're supposed to take on run blocks. Because in high school, they just kind of let me go and say, hey, do your thing. Along with a lot of the older guys helping out. We had a really good offensive line that year, and working with them on scout team every week was just, made me so much better as a player.
Yeah, of course. And did you have a favorite maybe game or a favorite memory from your time playing at Central Michigan?
Yeah, I think my favorite game or time was probably after we beat Oklahoma State, just because so many people said, oh, you guys are just going to go and get beat, like it wasn't even going to be close. And then to go and win that game on a controversial call, may it be, was just so cool, that feeling after the game in the locker room and getting home and having 500 plus people welcoming us home was just amazing.
That was incredible. That was the one with what's his face, the quarterback for Dallas, right? The Hail Mary, was it? I thought I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I saw that live. So I was like, I actually know exactly what game you're talking about.
Yeah, and that was the second time we had done that. My freshman year, we did that in the Bahama Bowl, and it was the same play essentially. And so it was the second time. And in the Bahama Bowl, we lost, and then Oklahoma State, we won. So it was like a progression of this one play. It was just amazing.
Yeah, no, that's incredible, and it's a memory that I even remember. So I think that's pretty cool. As soon as you mentioned that, I was like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. But with that being said, you played against some tough competition in college football. Who would you say is the toughest guy you went up against?
I think Kareem Hunt. We played because he played at Toledo, and we played him, every year until he left. And at the time, I think he outweighed me. He was a running back, and I was an interior D lineman, and he outweighed me. And he just, his play speaks for itself. And it was just, he was always one of those guys that was like every week we played him, it was like we have to get this guy on the ground, and he was so good, just could bring it every week.
Oh, for sure. I can imagine he'd be tough to go up against. But, this past season, unfortunately you had a season-ending injury. You injured your knee, I believe, and, had to get surgery. So what was that experience like? And I'm sure that you're still probably having to go through that recovery process. Is that going well? And what are you doing to just get back to 100%?
Yeah, the experience is, never ending. I had some really good conversations with my dad and teammates, and, it's something I'll remember forever, not being on the field with, the team, my senior year for my last game at home. And, although it wasn't a great season for the team, it was, the last opportunity that's guaranteed to wear that football jersey. And it's really hard. It's hard every day, but yeah, it's going really good. I'm getting healthy and getting close to running again and all that. But it's really just about being dedicated, going in and doing work. And even when they're like, all right, you can be done for the day, staying in, and just doing the most I can do every day. And, every week it's like, oh, you can do this again. You can start to do more. And as those things come, it's just gets more and more exciting to be back to normal.
Oh yeah, for sure. I played soccer in college, and my freshman year, the first day of preseason, I partially tore my ACL. So I was out for the entire season. My freshman year, I ended up redshirting, like you did. And, I can respect that feeling of, you say never-ending process because, it can get really difficult and, it takes a lot of time to get back to where you were. But, it sounds like you got a pretty positive mindset and you're eager to get back out there. And, that's one of the most important, things I think when dealing with an injury is to just, ride it out and trust that the process of recovery. And I know that, just knowing you as a player, I know that you'll go back and, be where you were.
Oh yeah. It's amazing how it changes your whole perspective on things, how quick it can be taken away. That thing that you've loved for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can certainly be troubling, but I guess, kind of moving away from the whole injury and everything, what would you say is your biggest strength as a player?
I think for me as a player, I think it's my motor. I just love being out there, and it's I don't know, it's the feeling that you get, just putting on the pads and playing. I'll run all day if I have to, I'll chase a guy down a sideline, that he's clearly faster than me, but I'm going to try to catch him. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to give it 100%. And even now, so I know it's going to change even more just because I've had so much time taken away. I think it's just that motor to never stop.
And what's something in your game that you're looking to improve on? I
think just the aggression that I take on blocks with, in the NFL, it's, of course, the next level. So you're playing against tougher, stronger guys, and being able to take on blocks and consistently be aggressive. And, that, I think that's my biggest thing that I want to improve on in the upcoming years, kind of focusing on that.
Yeah, for sure. And, we kind of asked kind of like this, fun little question, about the NFL. Who is a quarterback that you would like to sack at the next level?
I mean, I think, I would be, hope to sack everyone, but especially Tom Brady, just because so few people get to him, and how cool that would be, just that moment. Where you sack Tom Brady. Not many people get the chance to, and just him being one of the best quarterbacks of all time, it'd be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a popular answer among defensive guys because, like you mentioned, it is, really rare to, sack him, and it'd be cool to be able to say that you sacked the greatest quarterback of all time for sure. But, another question that we ask every guy who comes on is, we are a Rams podcast, so, we're interested to know, have you met or talked with the Los Angeles Rams yet?
I have not got the opportunity to do that yet, which, I know, so we have our pro day on this Thursday coming up, and, I'm hoping that I'll, have an opportunity to speak with them then, but just, it's a really cool organization. I've been watching the All or Nothing series on Amazon Prime and just started the LA Rams season, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, and you bring up the All or Nothing series. I actually had Keith, I think it's Cosrow, I think he's the producer of it. I had him on the show, and he was explaining the different ins and outs of that, and the whole Hard Knocks thing. And it was so cool, but my biggest issue with that, Nathan, that was before Sean McVay got there, and I'll tell you, it might have been must-watch TV because obviously, I'm a Rams fan, Alexis is a Rams fan, but I can't imagine the type of quality on TV that you would get, in a Sean McVay, atmosphere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'd probably be a lot different.
Wade Phillips too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Probably
never happening.
Go around for round 2. Hey, round 2, you never know.
Yeah.
There's a reason why a lot of those teams, they're one and done with those.
That's true. But the Rams are supposed to be the team of the future.
True.
So, get a look at the team of the future would be pretty cool.
For sure. Definitely. And to wrap it up, I'm just curious, in your own words, who is Nathan Brisson-Fast as a person and who is he as a player?
Ooh, that's tough. As a person, I just want to be a guy that can relate to everyone, someone that can talk and have a rapport with everyone, because you just never know, how you're going to affect someone in their life. I try to do so in a positive way everywhere I go, and treat everyone with a respect so that they feel like we can, we're on the same level and we can speak no matter who it is. And as a player, I really just want to be known as one of the guys, someone that was in the right spot and did their job day after day after day, hopefully year in and year out in the league and in college, a guy that you can depend on, and those last second plays that decide a game, a Super Bowl or whatever it may be, was a guy that was there, and did his job and helped his team win.
I love it. I absolutely love, the answers that we get from that type of question. Credit to Alexis. She's the one that came up with that question. I think it's very important. It's a great closer, but it's very important because, we oftentimes get so attached to the guy in the helmet, but we never care to learn about the guy off the field. So it's always good to, get a glimpse about, what a player's like off the field. And, it's been a lot of fun interviewing you, and, we got to stay in touch, man. We'll be fans for life. We'll be rooting for you, and you get healthy, and then you stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal, for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Nathan.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Oh, it's going great. How are you?
Awesome.
We're good. We're really excited to have you here and to talk to you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And just to get this thing started, I guess we'll just go, right to the beginning. How old were you when you started playing football, and how did that come about?
I started playing when I was 7, so as soon as I could start, I was going. My brother played football. He's 2 years older than me, and he was playing football, so I was always at the field watching his games, and I just took a taken to the sport. And I actually started off as an offensive lineman, moved to linebacker, and finally ended up at quarterback. But I played over 15 years now, and, I love the game, and it's been great to me.
Yeah, of course. And you have an interesting story, and, before we really dive into that, what was it like as a kid, growing up in Canada?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I played football in the fall, basketball in the winter time, and baseball in the spring, so I was always playing something, and, had a great family. My parents raised me really well, and they supported me throughout my football journey and growing up in Canada too. And, there's a lot of great people up there, and, it was a great time.
Did you have a favorite NFL or CFL player growing up?
I didn't have a favorite player, but my favorite football team growing up was the Dolphins. I have no idea why, but I just was a Miami Dolphins fan for some reason.
Hey, sometimes it's all it takes. Fandom can be a little weird, but it's all about fandom. And I mean, we're both Rams fans. I mean, I live in New York. She lives in St. Louis, so she has a reason. But so sometimes
Great.
It just kind of happens. But I want to dive right into this recruiting process that you went through, because I found your story very interesting,
Sure.
and I'm sure you're kind of wondering, why I just randomly reached out to you. I really liked, the tape you put out there. I think you're one of these quarterbacks that needs to be talked about way more. And, of course, before we get into all that, I don't know if you plan on going to the CFL or the NFL. And quite honestly, it's totally up to you. And it really, overall doesn't matter, because I think you're going to succeed either way. But then when I dove into your whole story and everything, I was really impressed. And, just take us through your whole recruiting process, because I know you actually were recruited by Bill O'Brien, who is the head coach of the Houston Texans.
Exactly. So, I was fortunate enough to play my junior year of high school in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Leave home at the age of 16 to, follow my dream of playing professional football. And that was just a great experience. And then I came down to IMG Academy, where I'm at training right now, actually. to work with Chris Wanke and just kind of work on my quarterback, just work on my skill level. And then he told me at the time that he was starting up a football program at IMG and that he'd want me to be the quarterback. So I thought that would be a great opportunity for me to further my game. So I ended up coming to IMG for my senior year of high school. So right off the bat, I mean, those were two great experiences for me, and I think prepared me very well for the next level. And like you said, I got recruited by Bill O'Brien to Penn State. Coming out of high school, I had, I think, 12 offers, and, Penn State was very attractive to me, especially because Bill O'Brien was there. I ended up committing to Penn State, but about 10 days before I was set to get there, it turned out that Coach O'Brien was leaving for the Houston Texans. And so that was tough, but I ultimately chose to stick with Penn State and, had a great experience there, played there for 1 year, but things didn't work out for me there. And ultimately I ended up deciding to transfer up to the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada. And, played there for 4 years, and that was a great experience. Won a national championship my first year there. Wasn't fortunate enough to get back to the national championship, but, had a great career there, 4 years. Met a lot of great people and, made a lot of great relationships. And here I am today with an opportunity to play at the next level. And so I'm very excited. And, at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for is an opportunity. And I think, that I will get that opportunity. So I'm very much looking forward to what the future holds.
Yeah, for sure. Like you mentioned, you've had, quite an interesting career so far and had a lot of great times. And, I'm just curious, throughout your whole college career, do you have a favorite memory, like a favorite game or just a favorite experience from playing college football?
Oh, man, that's such a tough question. There's so many great experiences, so many great memories. I'd have to say it was the national championship game, my first year at UBC. It's the fourth quarter. There's a TV timeout, and then there's this Coldplay song that came on in the stadium. And my roommate at the time, Alex Morrison, UBC receiver, we're great buddies. We were listening to that song like the whole week before, and it came on in the fourth quarter, and it kind of we looked at each other and laughed. And that was a great memory, just sharing that with him and my other teammates, and we ultimately went on that drive, scored a field goal, the game-winning field goal, actually. So that was just, it kind of puts things into perspective. It's a national championship game. You're kind of riled up, but then something like that happens, and you you just have to laugh. Like, what's the chances that something like that would happen? So I'll remember that. But, there's a lot of great memories from 4 years, but that's definitely one that sticks out.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I like that, and I like how you instantly remember, just one memory in general and kind of really the whole big picture, which was the national title game. But, I kind of want to double back there. I want to know what made you, choose to transfer to British Columbia.
Oh, sure. That's a great question. Coach Franklin came in to Penn State, took over, and, we had a great relationship. But at the end of the day, I felt that, that they were taking the program in a different direction and that I wasn't a fit in terms of what they wanted to do offensively. So at that point, I think that it would have been best for me, or it was best for me to leave and play somewhere else. But, I'm very appreciative of my time there and everything I learned. But like I say, at the end of the day, I think that they were going in a different direction.
Yeah. And it looks like you made a great choice by, picking British Columbia. Like you said, you had a great experience there and you enjoyed it. And this is something that I think is awesome. Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon has come out and publicly endorsed you as an NFL quarterback. What does that mean to you?
Oh, that's just amazing. I mean, to see everything he's accomplished in his career, and to show the support he has for me, that means a lot. And I think that it speaks volumes to the type of player he thinks that I am, and that the type of player that I can be. And I think he does see that I can play in the NFL, and that I have the skills capable to do so. So that means a lot. That's great.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I was doing some research and I saw that. I thought that was really cool. I spoke to a CFL legend, Dieter Brock. He actually has come on the podcast before because
okay.
He played for the Rams, so being a Rams podcast, it made so much sense.
Sure.
But no, I mean he was awesome. And he's somebody I still don't feel like gets enough credit for what he did with the Rams in one season. But I mean, you're talking, Warren Moon. That's a crazy name, and to throw praise your way like that. And I know Jesse Palmer, threw praise your way as well. So multiple guys that have been in the NFL have had success in the NFL have both endorsed you. But before we get into really all about you, and we're very interested in all about you, but I always like to ask, anybody that comes on this podcast, the question of, who was the toughest player that you went up against in college?
Oh man, that's a great question. I'd have to say number 7, McCoy, free safety at the University of Manitoba. Now I played against him all 4 years. He was a great safety. Had a knack for the football. I think he intercepted me twice in 4 years. So I'll remember him. Like I say, just a great player, very smart. Was an engineer in the engineering school at Manitoba, and just had a great feel for the game. And I have to say, from my time at Penn State, I'd say probably Joey Bosa. I remember he made a big play against us in overtime that kind of ended the game. So yeah, he's unreal.
Oh, for sure. He's definitely a talented guy, and is kind of a nightmare for guys he goes up against, and definitely can imagine that it'd be tough to go up against him. But you're someone who you played football in both Canada and the United States. Is there a game style that you prefer?
I wouldn't say so. I think both games, offer kind of unique challenges and unique subtleties. The Canadian field, it's a lot wider, 40 yards longer. There's 12 men on the field. Receivers can motion up to the ball, and it's only 3 downs. So it's a lot more, I'd say, wide open game, and a lot more passing in the CFL game, which I do enjoy. But then when you look at the American game, I'd say it's much more detailed and just very, very, what am I trying to say here? It's just very crisp, and everything has to be on time. Rhythm, timing, tight window throws are much more common in the NFL. And I think that, that's awesome too. So I think both games are great. And yeah.
I thought that was a great answer for a great question. I like that you mentioned. I totally know what you mean when you say crisp. Like it just, the anticipation throws, the tight window throws, the field is shrinking compared to the CFL game. So obviously you have to have a quarterback that has the accuracy and the wherewithal to make those throws. But you're somebody that's being looked at, for the CFL draft and the NFL draft. There's been some greats that have come from both of them. I mean, we've already talked about that, but
sure.
How do you plan on making a decision like that if, say, you're drafted in both leagues?
I would definitely have to say I'd want to pursue my NFL opportunity, and that would be, if I was fortunate enough to get drafted, that would be my main focus. to be playing in the NFL. But again, the CFL too, that'd be a great option as well. But right now I'm preparing for the NFL, and that's where my mind is set. But you never know what could happen. It's quite a business down here. That's one thing I learned. It is a business. So I am prepared to play both, but right now I'm set on playing in the NFL.
I love it. And one thing I want to add real quick, just kind of get your take. I haven't really gotten anyone's take on this, but,
Sure.
as somebody that's coming in from college, and whether or not, you make an NFL roster or CFL roster, I just want to get your take on what you think about the AAF. Do you think it's a good, platform for players like yourself and players that, haven't quite made it in the NFL and are looking for a second chance? And what is your overall, value? Like, how do you feel about the AAF?
I think it's great. I mean, I've watched a couple games already. Obviously a big difference from the NFL, but that's expected. But I think it's a great opportunity for players to develop their skill outside of the NFL. I think that, I think it was really needed, to be honest, the AAF, and I'm glad that, there is that league now, and it's just more opportunity for players to, keep playing football. So I'm all for it. I do think, I hope it stays financially viable. I think that would be the main concern, but, if that's all figured out, then I think it's great. And, I'm actually, I'm happy that it's here because I get to watch football now after the NFL's over. So, I love it. And for quarterback developmental, or for development, the development of quarterbacks as well, I think it's great. Just seeing that process take place. I mean, looking at what Aaron Murray has done in 2 weeks playing for Atlanta, it's been pretty cool to watch that. So, and countless other quarterbacks there, but I think it's a great opportunity for quarterbacks to, have a second chance at the NFL. So, no, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. And Jake and I've been watching the AAF a lot, and the team that I picked finally won their first game. Great! I just picked, before the season started, I picked the Memphis Express as my team because it's the closest team to where I live. So I said I'll be a Memphis fan. I live in St. Louis. They're not that far. They've gotten up. It's been rough for them, but I'm excited to see. I think that they're going to get better. So I've been very interested in watching the AAF. And what would you say, kind of going back to your game, is, what is your biggest strength as a quarterback?
That's a really good question. I may not be able to give you just one thing. I would say I'm 6'5", 230 pounds. I have the requisite size. I'm durable. I haven't missed a college game or high school game my whole career. I can make all the throws. I throw with great anticipation, accuracy, and I have the necessary arm strength to play at the next level. And I think that I'm a great leader as well. There's a certain type of intangible you need, I believe, to play quarterback at the next level. Being able to step in the huddle and, command the attention of 11 or 10 unique individuals, I think is a skill that, a lot of people don't realize. It's, it's a lot more than just throwing a football. So I think that I excel in those areas. And I would say a gym rat. I'm always around the football facilities. I love to watch film. I love to diagram plays. I love to learn new offenses. And I'm intelligent as well. So I think that, I have the work ethic, I have the skill level, and then I have also the type of intangible that you need to play quarterback at the next level.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those are some awesome traits to have for sure. With that being said, what do you feel like is the one area you need to improve on as far as your game is concerned?
I would say throwing on the run. It's something that I've struggled with in the past, and it's something that I'm spending a lot of time right now actually trying to work on. And a lot of it's just mechanics, making sure you get a good leg kick with your left leg, and then being able to change arm slot so you're not throwing always over the top when you're on the run. So just throwing on the run is something that I've been working on that I think I have room to improve my game on.
And this is kind of a broad, question that it might probably doesn't have one specific answer as well. But what's your ideal? What's your ideal offensive system?
I'd say pro style, West Coast terminology, offense. Anything, a lot of under center. I'm very comfortable under center, and I'd love to do that. Play action. I love play action. I think it's great. And just throwing from the pocket, really. I think I'm a pocket passer, so any type of offense that is predicated by play action and throwing from the pocket, I think would be my fit. But I think again, I'm adaptable, and I think I can play in any offense that I'm asked to play. Obviously, not necessarily a dual threat quarterback, so I won't be out there running the triple option. But I think I am. I think I am athletic enough to extend the play. When the structure of the play breaks down to make something happen, though. So I think I can excel in a multitude of offenses.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And kind of like a fun question, as far as not even just the NFL, but just in general. If you could throw a game-winning touchdown pass to any wide receiver, who would it be?
Oh, man. I've never been asked that question before. I have to say Randy Moss. I think he's awesome. And throwing him a jump ball, I think that'd be pretty cool. Let him go make a play.
Yeah, great answer. He certainly was an incredible receiver, and this is a question that we ask everybody who comes on the show because after all, we are a Rams-based podcast. Have you met or talked with the Los Angeles Rams yet?
I have not. I know they have inquired at my school to get some film from me, so I know they've been in touch with the UBC program. That's about all I know. And my agent has been talking to a lot of teams. I'm not sure which exactly, but I know they have shown interest.
And obviously, apologize for not knowing this ahead of time. Did you have a pro day yet, or is that coming up?
That's coming up April 4th at UBC.
Awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And just to wrap it up, I've got a question, just for you, in your own words, who is Michael O'Connor, the player, and who is he as a person?
I think, well, that's funny you asked that actually, because, I was actually working with Coach Adam today down at IMG. And he told me great people make great football players. So I think that, the answer to that question, I think can almost be answered with the same words. I mean, I'm a competitor. I love to compete. I have a great work ethic. I understand what it takes to be successful. I'll be someone that any team can rely on. Will understand my role on the team and perform that to the best of my ability. And, also realizing that playing quarterback, I think you have a big impact on the community around you. So also kind of realizing that and making sure that, I try to make an impact with the platform that I do have. And then just having fun at the end of the day. I'll have the opportunity to play a game and get paid for it. So, that's just an amazing opportunity, and I'm looking forward to see what happens.
Absolutely. Hey, we really appreciate you coming on. I know you're working hard, at the academy and trying to get in, shape for the NFL and the CFL or wherever you end up. But, regardless, we'd love to have you in Horns, but if you're not a Ram, regardless of where you are, we'll be rooting for you, man. Stay healthy, and let's keep in touch, Michael.
Okay, let's do it. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. It means a lot.
Thank you.
All right, take care, man. Stay healthy.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too.